At the beginning of our FEDD project, we conducted some research on the history of water fountains, and then we found that at the beginning, in Greek and Roman times, they served a practical purpose to provide clean water for the citizens. And as time moved along, they served a more aesthetic purpose, just decorating cities and parks, etc. And as they became more aesthetic, patents arose to help protect these designs. And so one particular patent that was relevant to our fountain was the Tesla fountain patent by Nikola Tesla in 1914. And that served to protect a water fountain design that had a central pipe, and water rose through the central pipe and fell down into subsequent tiers that overflowed. And so after conducting our research, that's really where we came up with the design and the name of our fountain. The name of our fountain is the new Fahd, and that comes from King Fahd's fountain, which is the world's largest water fountain. And then as far as the design, we kind of went with the whole Tesla fountain patent and created a fountain with a central pipe and then tiers that overflowed and down to the lower parts into a reservoir of water. And the theme that we went with our fountain was a Moorish garden of paradise, which was just essentially a water fountain that incorporated a lot of themes of nature.
Okay, so what was our first question we were trying to answer?
Our first question was to find out what we could move by use of water.
So what were some of the ideas we came up with in order to answer the question?
Well, our first idea was to have the central pillar turn by use of water. We couldn't find the right materials to make that work. Then we had the idea of tippers, which would fill up with water and then tip over and empty. We could not get those to work. Finally, we decided on having water wheels, which were simple enough, we had the right materials, and would easily work.
So we drew up a plan for that, right?
Yes.
And then after that, what was our next step?
The next step was building our ideas, which allowed us to see the problems within our plans.
Right, so then we made revisions.
We revised our ideas and came up with simpler and more effective uses of our materials.
So when creating our fountain, we ran into several problems. The first one being this central line, like tier. It leans and it's pretty unstable, actually. So because of its instability, the water flows regularly. So that causes a problem with the tiers, and especially our water wheel, which is part of the requirements. The water must actually move it. So it's pretty erratic whenever it's spinning. The other part would be our tiers. We used plastic Tupperware, so it was cut rather unevenly, and because of that, again, it's not even on the tier, so the water's, again, erratic. And then when we cut this bottom tier, they're not equal, so the water flows at different rates through the 4 different orifices.
I'm John with the new Fahd. Overall, I'm really happy with our design, but there are a few things I would have done differently if given the chance. One thing is that we would have waited to paint the whole thing until we were done with the actual design, and that's because on our first real construction day, we painted before we were completely done, so some things needed to change, and we spent a lot of time waiting for paint to dry. So that's one thing to change, just wait on finishing touches until you're sure everything's correct. And one other thing is just making sure that the base fits in securely. Right now, there's a bit of boarding, which makes it hard to attach the main tower, which makes everything and that leads to a whole host of other things, including this uneven flow at the base, which makes it harder to activate the water wheels and do the things we want this design to do. And lastly, just be sure to pay attention to like finishing touches and clickers and whatnot, because looks really matter. So be sure to allocate time for that.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm with the new Fahd project this year for the water fountain. Some advice to incoming freshmen for this next year. Make sure you distribute your tasks evenly so there's not a lot of confusion, a lot of schedule conflicts, because there will more than likely be some. It was really hard for our group to meet this year because all of our schedules were so busy, but we did get our project done and it turned out fine. an idea for you guys was to put your money up front evenly within the group. So if you have a $40 constraint, distribute it evenly, and everyone puts all the money up front at the beginning of your project, so you don't have to worry about money constraints later on. And another thing would be just put a lot of hard work and dedication into it as much as you possibly can, because it will pay off. Our project, we put a lot of hard work into it, hours into it, and it did turn out great, and we're proud of our project, and you guys will be too if you do the same. So, good luck next year.